What's up everybody, my name is Neil, and in today's video I'm going to tell you about how I lost $8,000 back in 2016. Now before we get into the video, I just want to say that I am beyond past this, and I just like to tell the story at this point because so many people come up and ask me and they love hearing about the Mustang story and how it all went down. So I decided I wanted to share it with YouTube today and maybe give something for you guys to look out for when you are buying and selling cars. After buying and selling my first few cars, I got really confident with what I was doing, and this Mustang that I own would have been about the fourth or fifth car that I would have had after buying and selling and making money on all my previous cars. So at this point, I figured I was ready to go out and make a larger purchase, and buying an $8,000 car was kind of a lot for me at the time. When we got down there, the car was perfect. I mean, there was no scratches, the car ran and drove perfectly, so I figured, let's get the car. It was a great deal, that's why I went down there. I didn't even have to negotiate the price at all. It was exactly what I wanted. So we started talking to the guy, and when we went to go sign off on that title, and what I'm going to show you is a Michigan title right now and what the title he gave us looked like. And looking back now, I even called it out to him. There was a font change in the title, and I said to him, this is not how it's supposed to look, but I figured it could have been just a mistake when they created the title. I don't know, whatever it was. I didn't know at the time, I know now. What I'm gonna show you right here is, this is a Michigan title, okay? So the title we were buying was a clean green title, which means it hasn't been an accident or it wasn't salvaged, rebuilt, whatever. So this is a title that I currently have for my current vehicle, and what you can see is all the font is the same. When I got the Mustang title, what I noticed was the font coloring was like a bold. It looked like it had been written over, not with like a pen or something. It looks like it was typed over in like bold letters. So these letters, instead of being like all normal font, these were all bold, and then the rest of the title was a normal font. So right away I noticed this, and like I said, I called it out. So whatever, we ended up buying the car. We drove it home. The next day we went to go get it registered at the Secretary of State. Now when you're buying a car in Michigan, you don't have to meet with the seller at the Secretary of State or anything like that, which it would have been safer and it would have saved me the $8,000. But the way I buy and sell cars, I've never had a problem like this before, and problems come up. So when we got to the Secretary of State, they told us that we couldn't register the car. They told us that it was a fake title, and that the title actually belonged to a different, it was like a trailer, it didn't belong to the Mustang. So the Secretary of State wouldn't allow us to register it or apply for a new title, and we also couldn't get insurance on the vehicle. I didn't have the seller's driver's license or anything like that, so I couldn't contact him. Obviously, I tried calling him back, wouldn't answer. We kind of thought about it, came up with a few different ways we could try and get the car legal. We could keep it as a track car, but it was a complete mess. We didn't know what to do. Remember, I've only been buying and selling for about a year or two at this point, so this was the first roadblock I hit, and it was a big one too. So we didn't know what to do. We figured the most ethical thing to do was to just go and turn the car in, and that's what we did. Called up a repo or like a tow place, and they just came and picked up the car, and that was it. That's all I saw of the car. So within a few weeks, the car was gone, and I was out $8,000. Now we're still not sure if the Mustang was ever labeled as stolen, because when they ran the VIN number, the VINs matched up, but obviously the font on the title was different, which means it was wrote over, and the car never came back as a stolen vehicle. So we are still not sure how this whole mess happened. Some tips I want to give you guys when you are buying from a private seller: you always want to ask for an ID. When you're buying the car, you want to know that the name on the title of the seller matches up with the person's ID, so you're not having some random person sell for someone else, because the name on the title, when they sign it off, they both have to match to be registered at the Secretary of State, at least for the state of Michigan. If you're purchasing something that's a little bit more expensive than you were expecting, you could always call your insurance company, have insurance put on it right before you buy it, and this way they'll kind of do the whole run through the title thing, and it'll come back as a legitimate deal. But that's usually the only things I look out for. I've never had this problem after this event happened, so I continue to flip cars. Another tip I want to give you guys is to stay out of bad areas within your state. Where I was buying this car from, I never go, but the deal was so good that I had to have it, and because of that, I paid a price. Make sure you know what you're buying, and of course you're not going to make money on all the cars you buy and sell. There's going to be problems. Buyers are selling their cars as is, and people are gonna lie, but to avoid a mistake like this should not happen to anyone else. So some things I could have done to make back a little bit of money while owning the car was I could have parted it out, but I'm not a mechanic and I don't want to tear apart the whole car and leave it in the garage and sell pieces individually at a time. That would have took forever. I could have turned it into a track car possibly, or drove it around on my own personal property, but again, I'm not much of a car guy. I just like buying and selling them, so that wasn't much of an option for me. We tried applying for a title, but because there was a title for that car already, we couldn't apply for a new one. We had to get the original one. We didn't know where the original title was, and because of that, the guy gave us a fraudulent title that was, you know, like I said, the letters on the top of the title were bolded. If you see something like that where there's a miscoloration between like the text coloring, then that's a big indicator right there to know that this title has been altered. One last thing I want to leave you guys with is never put all your eggs in one basket. Luckily, this wasn't all of my money and I didn't suffer financially because of it. I actually bounced back harder and I decided to work even harder and flip even more cars. So don't let something like this hold you down. As always, thank you for watching and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.